is taking part in a kind of like a tradition now here. We had in August we had Ovir Avigat, all the way from Israel, speaking here about the crypto scene in Israel. And when I heard that Reuven would be here, I asked him if he could give an update on the crypto scene in Israel. So Reuven Palatnik is here all the way from Tel Aviv, I guess, to tell us about the crypto scene in Israel, to tell about De-centralize, an initiative started by Ovir Avigat after he came back from Amsterdam. So that's a good thing to see, that there is a mutual inspiration. And about TRST.im service he is starting. So please a big applause for Reuven.
So first of all, I will speak a little bit about the Israeli crypto scene in general. Small death to Ovir Avigat. Since Ovir Avigat came back from Amsterdam, he came up with this new notion. And actually I spoke with a researcher here just at the beginning of the evening, and he also told me that in the crypto scene all you see is people that are, computer geeks, and they have great ideas, but sometimes they don't really know what is needed in the world or what is required to bring Bitcoin to the masses. And he realized that decentralized apps are the future and will bring, the real revolution about Bitcoin. So he started this magazine which is called De-centralize, and it's all about decentralized apps. Some of the apps that I will mention later already appeared in this magazine. They have over 10,000 readers by now, I guess. And what is so special about this magazine is that everyone can contribute. You can just sign up and start your own channel and write about everything you want. He got to this idea because as you saw, the guy is a social entrepreneur, and many people that he knows have really great ideas, but they don't know that they are already applicable. So he thinks with this new technology about decentralized apps, many of those social ideas can already be implemented. And he wants to have a place where all these people can get together and read about each other's ideas. So it's a beautiful magazine, and I encourage all of you to go there and contribute your own ideas and your own articles there. And let's start with some other companies and projects in Israel. First and foremost is the Bitcoin Embassy in Tel Aviv. I understand Ophir told you about the embassy. I cannot understate the importance of such a space. It's not a startup, but it's a place that is open every day, and every Bitcoin enthusiast or everyone that is interested to learn a little bit more about Bitcoin goes there. And the brainstorming that goes there, I think, was the initiative for many of the ideas that came about. Funny enough, it's located in the heart of the financial district in Tel Aviv, right across the street from the new stock exchange, the Tel Aviv Stock Exchange. So it's a very interesting comparison between the huge building of the stock exchange and the very small office of the Bitcoin Embassy. They hold regular events there, and they have security workshops every Sunday. Great place for education for Bitcoin. Another project that started there is Byte Labs, which is an accelerator for Bitcoin startups as well. Again, everything happens when Bitcoin enthusiasts can go there every day and get ideas and discuss their ideas. Another company is Pundulis Tech. If you guys heard about it, it's about mining equipment. I don't understand that much about mining, but it's one of the biggest companies around, I guess. They already were funded much more than $10 million. Their biggest competitor is Bitfury, and I can't tell much more about mining companies. Bits of Gold is your regular exchange. They are located in Tel Aviv. But recently they started to develop a new management tool that is called LedgerLog. It's still half kind of in stealth mode, but it's mainly for institutions that are carrying around large amounts of Bitcoin. They want to eliminate this notion of cold storage and hot wallets, and it's simply a new way to manage Bitcoin securely, with different credits for different employees in the companies, and it's much more securely. They already got funding, and they moved to New York to implement it with their first client. Again, they are targeting financial clients, institutions. Simplex was built by some PayPal fraud experts. Their target is to enable credit cards for exchanges, for Bitcoin exchanges. They do a lot of fraud analysis, tools that were developed with PayPal. And they are targeting all the Bitcoin exchanges. I think they will be operational at the beginning of next year or so. So it's still a product in development. Lazuz. I heard already some people here that heard about Lazuz. Lazuz is about collaborative transportation. This is one of the first decentralized apps that appeared in De-centralized. I would call it decentralized Uber. People collect Zuz money by traveling around. This is the pre-mining period right now, just started last week. And people actually pay for the rides for the mileage. I think it's a beautiful implication of decentralized apps. They also have a very beautiful app. I encourage you to go and search it in the Google Play Store and start to play with it. I don't know if it has too much use here in Amsterdam because it's not exactly for bicycle riders. You have to either plug it into your car or to go over 20 kilometers per hour. But those of you that use cars, are very welcome to start using it. Thanks.io is a very nice wallet. What I find novel about it is, first of all, it includes a messenger as well. You can connect with your Facebook, connect to it. So it's not anonymous, it's about your friends and messaging your friends and transferring money to your friends. But it also has a very nice feature into it, which is online and offline transfers. I mean, they have two kinds of tokens there. One is Satoshi and one is just called Thanks. If you want to use the Thanks token, you have to upload some money to the wallet to pay them. And then you simply transfer Thanks to each other. It's about micropayments. You don't have to pay transaction fees for sending Thanks. And at every given point, you can simply exchange the Thanks to Satoshis and then you pay the Bitcoin transaction fees. Again, very nice wallet, very beautiful interface. Do try it. Another decentralized app, which is a very interesting project by itself, is about decentralized computing. I guess they are competitors with Amazon Cloud. It's about decentralized computing powers, and it's about using your computers when they're idle. It's exactly like the project of SETI at home. Does anybody here know the project? Yeah. SETI at home? So I guess it's very similar to this. The main developer behind it is called Ohad Asor, and he has a lot of experience with computing. They say you can save a lot of money by using decentralized computing with people's personal computers at home instead of paying Amazon Cloud. He already managed to solve most of the problems about computer bandwidth and about security. He just got some funding, so he has a big crew of developers by now. I don't know exactly when they will launch, but it looks very interesting. These two projects are still in the very early stage. They're kind of like concept projects. One of them, James, is about decentralized WhatsApp, and he wants to use like gamification to use the messenger, and people actually get tokens for using and sending more and more messages. He started to get a lot of coverage and many articles about him. Again, very nice and interesting project. A second project that was only announced in the conference 2 weeks ago is Scenario. And Scenario is kind of like a decentralized Facebook. He doesn't like it when I present it this way, but it's about exactly like Facebook. You can share everything with your friends, and the main feature about it is about publishers. And if you want to publish some content there, it will be actually paid only to the users who read it and to the users who share it with their friends, and not to Facebook itself. One last project I want to tell about is Bitrated. I think Bitrated is one of the most undiscovered gems in the Israeli scene. The project was already featured last year, and it's already a full running platform, and it's about arbitration. We all know that Bitcoin is kind of anonymous and full of fraud. And this is a place where people can offer themselves as arbitrators. And then you can go there, and if you want to make transactions, you select an arbitrator and you make the transaction with the multi-signature using this person. I think he was perhaps like the first platform to actually offer multi-sig transactions to the wide audience, as they say. But as you can see, the platform doesn't even have a logo or anything, so not too many people heard about it. He is now developing a reputation platform like ourselves, and I believe we will cooperate with them and use his payment services for the multi-sig. So actually, everyone who has a need, needs to make transactions securely. There are a lot of other solutions as well, but this is a perfect solution. That's it. I might have missed a few projects, but then again, I'm not an expert on the entire scene. I couldn't explain very thoroughly about each and every project, but if each one of you is interested to learn about them, in depth, I can connect you with the developers of these projects. So don't hesitate to approach me afterwards. And one more interesting project that will be initiated from Israel is this Crypto Money Expo. And actually, it doesn't state it here, but it's going to be a virtual expo, so you can go from home, so you don't even need to dress up. The speakers for the event are already closed, and there will be many interesting speakers. Registration, of course, is free, but you can also set up your own booth and put a banner there and everything. As you can see from the pictures here, the speakers will be marked with suits, so you'll be able to recognize them. You can approach everyone and speak with them. So I guess it will be very interesting there. I don't know, any questions about the projects here? Something that you can try and elaborate? Yeah, please.
Yeah, hi. I know I've heard a bit about Lazoo's already. Intriguing idea, and as you say, I think it's a very, very clever idea to say, even you mine by moving, isn't it?
Yep.
I wonder, well, I don't know how much you know about it, but how much have they thought and have solutions for fraud in that sense?
Well, I don't know.
I own a container full of, it has 10,000 iPhones in there. I'm going to drive this container all through the country all day.
Well, you're right. I don't know yet what solutions they have for fraud.
Immediately thought, okay, nice.
I guess they did start to think about simple solutions. Otherwise, they would enable me, also to mine coins by moving around. So I guess there are solutions of you have to connect it to your computer, to your car's charger, or you have to drive at least 20 kilometers per hour. Is first steps towards fraud prevention.
Of course, I'm not even going to drive this truck. I just made this truck.
No, I meant
run the Android emulator on my computer 10,000 times.
What I meant is that they already implement, simple fraud prevention steps. I don't know what they thought about issues such as yours. I guess they would love to hear about them.
Yeah.
I don't know if they thought about all the different, scenarios available.
I do think that the idea is very clever and really innovative because everyone's thinking about how can we make a better proof of work algorithm or a better proof of stake or whatever, proof of movement.
And I think that's like a very nice and practical implementation of decentralized apps. I can connect you with the developers if you're interested to really hear about the answer for this. They exist for, I think, almost a year now, and they won some prizes in some hackathons. So I imagine they have many fields already covered. But I guess many of the frauds you only discover, as you move along, step by step. This is what happens in every industry usually. Yeah, please?
You mentioned the project called GEMS, this decentralized. Decentralized WhatsApp. Lately, the BitMessage got a lot of attention. Do you know how these two compare? They seem to be exactly the same thing.
Yeah, I don't know how they compare.
Alright, I'll look it up then.
Yeah.
Do you have a URL for the cryptocurrency expo?
Actually, I can send you the URL later. Just look for Crypto Money Expo. That's the name of the website as well.
I'll Google it and then I'll find you.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
In one word.
Thank you.
They should have put virtual in their name.
Yeah,
this is like the main feature.
Confusing thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I believe you should explain that these are sort of animated.
That these are the avatars you can choose from.
Yeah.
Could you describe that as a sort of second life
Exactly.
for crypto?
Yeah.
Or a second life crypto meetup, let's say?
I would say it's a second life meetup because it's not a second life. This platform will not live, forever.
Yeah, but we're still looking at people that are real people behind each avatar, and at a moment in time interacting via their avatars.
Yeah, the whole purpose of it is that each person, once you click with the mouse on the person, you will be able to know who this guy is and you will be able to approach him. But after the 6th of December, I don't think anyone will stay there in the conference room. That's why I wouldn't call the second live, you know. Unless it will be, you know, hugely successful, then maybe they will just continue. I mean, usually after every meetup or after every conference, people stay there and continue to chat on, and it never ends. So it might just happen. It could be. Any more questions about all these little projects?
Simplex, you mentioned Simplex at some point.
Yeah.
Are they doing actually anything with their fraud expertise? Because I actually think that's a very, very interesting idea. Detecting fraud in the Bitcoin network is probably already been done. I don't know about it, but do they do anything with it?
Again, first step, they do fraud analysis on the credit card, you know, part of the transaction. That's why they target Bitcoin exchanges now, and they want to help them with accepting credit card payments, you know, deposits. So this is where they put their expertise to use, you know, really. They are also starting to do fraud analysis on the Bitcoin network itself. I guess like many other companies around, and I don't know if they still have results. But I believe the remonetization now is about accepting credit cards and working with the seniors. Actually, their analytics and fraud about the blockchain, I guess it's much more of a concept as of yet, but I don't know because they don't release, you know, this data. Anything else? Okay. So now, thank you very much. Now I would like to tell you about the platform that I'm developing with my partner. This will also be quite short because it's still a concept. We still don't have a product to show. I can only show you like a screenshot that we are still designing. The project is called TRST.im or TRST.im and blocks with Trust. And as I already told a few people here, it's about developing a reputation platform for Bitcoin users for the network. I believe all you guys here know enough about Bitcoin, but I just want to stress, you know, the difficulty here and the pain. All the points that they show here and many other points, just like transactions, you know, the transactions are not reversible here, as opposed to the old world. Most of the trading in the regular fiat currency, the regular fiat money is conducted either in regulated marketplaces or by regulated merchants. It would be either eBay or a shop here in the street or Adidas shop, but these are always merchants or marketplaces which are under regulation. Whereas in the crypto scene, you know, you don't know who manages this shop or who manages this marketplace. Payment processors will always provide insurance in the real world, be it your credit card company, PayPal, or even your bank. I also have experience from the stock exchange trading. In some cases, if you made a mistake while trading there, you will even have your money back. If you manage to prove to them that it was like, you know, a really big mistake. I also mentioned IPOs and of companies because there is a nice example that I just heard about a couple of days ago with a company that is about to issue their tokens on top of Mastercoin. And I think this will be a very big area in the coming years. And the problem that arises here is because Bitcoin actually was designed to be anonymous and to be irreversible and to work as a trustless system. But the thing is that even though technically you can send money, you know, trustless, people don't actually do that. When people want to send money, they really need to trust. One nice example that I like to give is that I'm a friend of in the Facebook group of Bitcoin Argentina. And every day people go there to the group and ask each other about other people, and can you please vouch for that person, and can you please tell me about that person. And my first impression was that they do it because the transactions are conducted, you know, from long distance. So they have to ask people about each other before they send them, you know, money transfers or something like that. But when I asked people there in the group, they told me that no, we meet each other face to face, but I would also be afraid to bring, you know, $2,000 to a meeting face to face with someone that I don't really know. So even though the system is trustless, you don't send money if you don't trust someone. Now there are different ways to implement reputation and trust in platforms these days. The first and simple one is simply what we call website reputation. Your reputation is within the website and is managed by the website, just like eBay or Amazon do, or just like Silk Road used to do. The biggest drawback here is, first of all, it's not really scalable. Your reputation is inside this website. And second problem, which is a bigger problem in the Bitcoin area, is that you don't really know who manages the website itself. So again, he might look very reputable and manage the merchant's reputation, but you don't know what his reputation is actually. Another suggestion that I read about is about implementing this in wallets, in people's own wallets. But then it's completely non-scalable because it's inside your own wallet and you will not really share it, you cannot really share it with other users. Another suggestion is about proof of burn. This is what Mastercoin does, and this is about OpenBazaar. Do you guys know about the system that OpenBazaar wants to implement? Do you know OpenBazaar?
Yeah, the dark market and such, you mean?
Yeah, OpenBazaar will be like the new incarnation of the Silk Road, and what they want to do is a completely decentralized marketplace. And that way there is no liable, body behind it that you can arrest. So their reputation system will also be completely decentralized. And what they want to implement is a proof of burn concept. So if you want to be a merchant there, and you want to have, for example, like a credit line of, let's say, $500, so you want to be able to sell merchandise up to the amount of $500 each time, you have to burn Bitcoins worth of $500 when you register in the system. That way, we can say that you already paid for your reputation in advance, and let's assume that you want to con people now and you want to disappear with their money, you already burned those $500 and you cannot earn more than $500. And once you have to open a new profile, you will have to pay money again. So that's a very nice implementation which doesn't need to trust anyone.
But that gives an incentive to not open many accounts because it's costly. So it incentivizes to bundle it in one.
But yes, but this is directed towards merchants, and you as a merchant should open one account. My platform as well, I encourage you to open one account. Because in one account, you actually build your entire reputation from all of your users. So no one wants to incentivize merchants to open more than one account. Or let's say if you do feel that you need to open more than one account, yeah, pay for more. If you are not a merchant, you don't have to pay for anything. If you just want to open your own small business and sell small merchandise, you don't have to pay for a large credit line. So you pay $200 or something like that. But yes, a big drawback here is that you actually have to pay in advance for your credit. And if I want to open a big shop and be able to sell merchandise for the amount of like $10,000 to $15,000 at every time, I have to pay a large amount well in advance, and I might not have this amount. And Mastercoin solved this by actually burning a little bit of money in every transaction. So instead of paying in advance, you pay every time you make a transaction. This money comes off the merchant's account, and regardless of which coin was used for the transaction, it is translated to Mastercoins and burned. Now, I read many articles about burning Bitcoins, which is not actually like burning money, because you have all the rest of the users in the platform have money, so if you burn a little bit of money, it's actually like donating to the rest of the users in the network. But we don't believe that it is a good solution, and I don't believe it's really scalable. Because if I open the platform now, it's very successful, and I will have like 10,000 to 15,000 users, merchants. Let's say BitPay, that have 60,000 merchants registered already, and each such merchant will have to pay like 1 Bitcoin to get his credit line. That is a big amount of Bitcoins to be burnt right now, and it will change the price. Yeah.
So I burn 1 Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Does that prevent me from accepting 1 or half Bitcoin from many people simultaneously? So in the end, I do have an incentive.
No. You cannot. If you burn 1 Bitcoin, you cannot have more than 1 Bitcoin worth of sales at any given moment.
Okay, but in real world sales...
And then I gave you, your merchandise. My balance already dropped. I can get another, purchase, another order.
But then real world sales take shipping, so I would only be able to, let's say,
once the purchase is confirmed,
1 Bitcoin every 3 days.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's what I meant, that it's not very scalable. And if you're a small merchant, it might be sufficient for you.
Okay. But it would be good for digital goods, like download stuff? Or if you offer stuff for download?
Again, if you're a big shop, if you're iTunes, for example, every song costs like less than $1, but yeah, I guess they wouldn't really be able to use sometimes.
Yeah, but it's almost instant, and so the throughput is high.
Yeah. But I don't know exactly what is the rate of the sales. I guess they have much more than one Bitcoin worth of merchandise that are really want. So yeah, that's why I guess it's not very scalable. Another solution that people talk about is like reputation coins, and I know there are some projects such as this. The reason why we don't really like it today is because every altcoin that is developed today is only considered, about its worth. No one really cares about the projects behind it, and people only talk about, okay, it's a new pump and dump, or it's a new investment, or let's try to make money out of it, and the project is directly associated with the coin, and that's it. And it's also, even if you get a small amount of coins in the beginning to be able to start to operate with, afterwards you will have to purchase more and more coins. And I would like to incentivize my users to actually rate other users, because we know it's not a natural behavior that people do, so I don't want to put barriers in their way. Another solution that people implement today, and there are some nice projects that work this way, is about Web of Trust. Nadav Ivgif, that I showed you from bitrate.com, is developing such a platform, and I was introduced to another very nice platform that I think you guys know about, and it's called, not Infinity, Identify. I think Web of Trust is very good, and it will help with the engagement of users. But I myself come from the financial world, and as we say in the financial world, if you don't put money on it, I will not trust you. First of all, I want to see that you put money there, only then I will trust that you trust this person. It is very easy for me to connect to the platform. Even with my true profile, I don't have to create a fraud profile, and then say, okay, I know this person is very nice, I will trust him, I would even trust him with my mother when I actually didn't have to put money behind the words. But we might implement like a combined solution at the end, using a Web of Trust as well, but using our own payment system, our own reputation network, which will carry more weight. Now I spoke enough about other solutions, let me speak a little bit in brief about our solution. Our solution is to develop a blockchain-based anonymous reputation network. You can connect completely anonymous to the platform, or if you would like to be a merchant and to build better reputation, you can actually add your own profile, put your picture, and put your true face there or true name. Because as you know, reputation increases the more data you give. If it's really important for you, I would give as an example the guy from the Bitcoin embassy in Tel Aviv. The guy from the Bitcoin embassy in Tel Aviv, the guy who actually opened the embassy, is a very known figure in Israel. So his Bitcoin address actually starts with the words, one embassy, because he wants to have a public profile. So you open your own profile, and after that, if you want to rate someone else, you actually have to associate a Bitcoin address with your profile. Now, if your profile would be anonymous, the Bitcoin address will only be shared with us. Of course, we're not talking about the private key. I just know that this address is yours. And then you are able to rate every other transaction, every other user that transacted with this address, with your address. We will have public and private user profiles, as I mentioned. The rating calculation would be user-based. It will only be upon the ratings that you received from other users. You will be able to give multiple endorsements. Most notably, what we will start with is about, I know this person personally, it was a face-to-face transaction, and how communicative was my counterparty. And if you are a public profile, we will also give you ratings. Users will be able to, not ratings, but reviewings. People will be able to review you, free text, just like you see in every other website like eBay, Amazon, TripAdvisor, Airbnb. And now about blockchain integration, as I mentioned, we know that people don't want to associate their addresses. Again, this is like an action which is not very simple and easy. We will work on wallets integration, and this is one type of collaboration that we're looking for. We want to have a plugin inside people's wallets, and if they use our platform as well, with one small push of a button, they can actually associate the address with their profile in the platform. And they can also check other addresses. Assuming you wanted to interact with someone else, he gave you your payment address, you put the address in this API, you check, and you see what is the reputation of the person. I want to elaborate a little bit more about the public and private profiles. If you have a private profile, you can still use a few addresses in your profile. But when other people will search for you, they will not search for username because you don't have a username. They will only be able to search for a Bitcoin address, and they will only be able to see the ratings and the statistics which belong to that Bitcoin address. If you use a public profile and someone will want to search you, he will be able to search for your username as well, if you gave it to him. And then you will see aggregated results about all your addresses. Again, you will not see the list of your addresses. But if you have a reputation which is already carried, from your other address of 500 transactions, I want you to be able to carry your reputation onwards. About future features, we will enable people to have identity verification in the future. You will be able to connect with your Facebook profile, Reddit profile, Bitcoin Talk, everything. And this will help you to A, build your reputation more, and B, simply show that you are, a true person, true identity, and not someone who just built a false profile last week. We will create an API for cross-platform operation. I want the next open bazaar that will be opened next year to use our platform. We are already in discussions with Lazuz because they still don't have any reputation platform for their users, so they want to build a reputation platform with our help. Again, we will not be able to answer all of the fraud questions that will arise, such as the ones that you gave before, but it's one step, in that direction. HD wallets integration, this is an answer about Bitcoin addresses being used only once. We are talking about collaboration with HD wallet providers, such as Green Address already, and they will give us the master seed, and that way every new address that you create can be verified by us that it belongs to you. And this is about seamless integration, for the user. It doesn't have to associate the address every time, because you will create new addresses every time you make a transaction. About Bitcoin 2.0 protocols, as we said, this is very interesting for us, but right now we don't believe there is enough activity in this field to justify development there. But we want to help IPOs and equities and bonds, and when people want to trade them, I believe that this is where reputation is even much more important. I wanted to tell you this story. That 3 days ago, they told me about a new project that will be done in Mastercoin. It should be a huge IPO, or token issuance, but you have no idea who stands behind it. You don't know who's there. There are a lot of bad sides to the regulation of the real financial world, and you see a lot of fraud going on there. But try to imagine then what can happen when there is no regulation at all. And this is actually the picture that you get in the Bitcoin world. I actually worked in a financial company that was issuing new ETFs in the Tel Aviv Stock Exchange, and it used to take us like between 2 to 3 months to develop, the public offering. And you work on proofs for the securities authority, for the Israeli SEC, to show them that you are legit, even though we were already an active company in the exchange. And today people can use, open protocols such as Mastercoin, NXT Counterparty, and simply issue their company over it. No one knows who stands behind it. So we would like to help users there as well. Yeah, please.
What happens if your website goes down? What happens with my reputation if your website goes down?
We will have to build it more securely. If you want to ask if we will do it decentralized, we will not do it decentralized. But I believe the reason...
it's still a website-based.
It's website-based. It's
exported.
I want to give services to the decentralized world, but the service itself would be centralized. If you had to ever to manage, talkbacks in websites, you would see that you want to manage it. I mean, we will try not to get involved there, but sometimes I guess we will have to manage a few of the reviews. I believe that the fact that we will not store money there or private keys will be in our benefit. Of course, once we will start to store valuable data there, we will have to be much more secure. We are already building it, in a secure way.
Would it be possible to build, by reverse engineering, a sort of profile of the transactions that have been conducted by this particular profile persona through your website?
Again, please?
Well, you're building up a sort of reputational profile.
For profile,
right?
yeah.
From my perception, it should be possible then to see what sort of transactions have been conducted by this particular Bitcoin account.
You are talking about a profile which holds more than one address, for example. So it will be easier to reverse engineer and see all the addresses that belong to that profile.
Yes, exactly.
And transactions associated with that protocol.
Correct, yes. That is exactly what I was
Because if people have to supply feedback or review material on a particular address, will it be possible to access this, reverse engineer, and see all the transactions associated with this address?
It will be possible. Because I wanted to be able to.
Is that not a serious issue? Because at this moment, I have a strong belief that law officials and people from law enforcement in the Netherlands are trying to earmark by sending out these micropayments to various wallets, Bitcoin wallets in the Netherlands.
It's not only law enforcement, I think many people in the network know that,
to trace exactly where the ultimate Bitcoins are going to. You have certain points of where a larger number of Bitcoins are ultimately collected.
But here I'm not giving any information that is not already available on the blockchain. I'm not giving away any information that was not there on the blockchain, in the first place.
Well, it is.
With the exception,
but you see by
if you check one address right now, you will already see all the transactions that it conducted. The only thing that they allow you now is to see reviews of that transaction as well. It will help people to understand, what was the nature of that address.
Yeah.
That's why if we will see a review that reveals too much, information. First of all, that's why we don't allow reviews for private profiles. But if you see that this public profile wants to remain more anonymous and the review shows too many details, I might have to, delete this review. If you have a public profile with too few addresses, that might be a problem because it will reveal some details about you.
But it will raise certain doubts about the credibility of this particular profile.
Why should it raise doubts?
Well, if
you have more and more information about this profile.
If you think it's a big company or a big organization or a well-known person, and the profile is seriously lacking in feedback, what should you think then? Should you think that was a reputational system?
Then you might think twice before conducting business with this address, which was exactly the purpose of our platform.
Yeah, but it could be that it's a person who.
If you want to impersonate as a big business, at least go through the trouble of creating a profile, with a lot of transactions.
Well, yeah.
This is a difficulty that we are handling, that we are facing
but I
even more.
think, in all intents and purposes, I think it's a very good initiative, and I definitely underwrite your statement about the fact that a lot of these sort of initiatives being put out in the marketplace in the Bitcoin sphere, and you have no idea what the reputations of the people who are behind this.
Yeah.
There's no independent validation or even accountability of how this sort of funded money is going to be spent.
Exactly.
So it's a hotbed from a lawyer's perspective for scam artists.
I guess there's a lot of business for lawyers here as well. Or there will be.
Yeah.
It's true. Now, if the users will not give me their public, the true identity, I will not be able to give you the true identity. But if you choose to remain anonymous, then your reputation is even more important. So I want you to reveal some details about your history. We cannot say anything about your future. I can never tell if you steal my money tomorrow.
Yes.
At least let me explain, your history.
History.
Exactly.
Good indicator of the future.
But having said that, we are now at the process building, a proof of concept. And I would love to get feedback from you guys. This is exactly what we're looking for. We will release this within a couple of weeks, or maybe 3 to 4 weeks. Let's see how it goes. It will not be released to the wide, to the public yet. We want to have a group of a few dozens of people that will help us giving feedback and help us to develop it better.
Okay.
And that's it. As I mentioned before, the collaborations that we look for are with platforms and companies, with wallet providers, and with new marketplaces that will open. Let me say only a few more words about us. My partner, Maya Zahavi, she has experience with working with different startups about business development, and I come from a financial background. I worked in trading companies, I worked with ETF companies, I worked a lot in the Tel Aviv Stock Exchange, and that's it about us. Thank you very much. And if you have more questions, please.
I'm afraid that I still don't quite get it.
can you only trust people that have sent you money or that you have sent money to?
You can only rate people that you sent the money or
After
sent money to after the transaction. Yeah.
So I can only, if I want to trust someone, I have to send them money, or
Again,
you look at the trust profile, and
Exactly.
that's the history, the appraisal of this particular person who's done business with that person in the past.
Otherwise, you could rate someone you don't like and you don't have a financial relationship with. It's
Yeah.
very easy to
Exactly.
gauge.
He's an asshole.
I mean,
What does that mean?
it is true that you may know Bas very well. You know him for I don't know, 10 or 15 years by now. You know that the guy is very credible, but you never transacted with him, financially. This could be true, but most of the times what people do is simply, okay, please, go inside the system and vouch for me. But it will be difficult for you. It will be difficult for you. It will also be difficult for the adoption of our platform. But I believe this is the way to go.
how do you bootstrap it?
We would like to find, I would call it like, community leaders in every community. And I believe merchants will have an incentive to ask their clients to use it. 2 weeks ago, I was really surprised. I went to fix my mobile phone in a shop. And when I left the shop, the guy in the shop told me, okay, please give me your number, would you like to rate me? And then he sent me an SMS with a link to a website. It was a website about, rating of shops in Israel. And then the link was about to rate his shop. And I started to rate the shop, but at the end of the rating process, I was actually asked, to show my receipt. So that I will not be able to rate him just, without the basis of a transaction.
Yeah, that ties in with what was going to be my next question. What's to prevent a bad actor from gathering 2,000 soft puppet accounts of some kind, giving himself microtransactions, use later transactions, and building up a wonderful profile?
Okay, first of all, as I answered before, dealing with fraud is an ongoing process. We'll see more fraudulent activities, we'll know how to handle them. I have two very simple solutions to what you just mentioned. First of all, it would cost him a little bit of money because of the Bitcoin network.
Yeah, but it's probably worth throwing down that amount of money.
It might be. But then again, I will give you the rating, I will calculate the rating based on the size of the transactions.
Yeah, but
You can decide to say the amount.
But what he mentioned is, more complex behavior.
Yeah.
If I actually see that you open an account with him, or two addresses and just send him back and forth, it will be easy for me to recognize it, and it will be easy for you as well. A more complex behavior would be to open, a network of accounts, and then start to transfer the money between them, in a complex manner, so with, coin mixers. And then again, the first solution is that it will cost you more and more money to make this complex behavior, not because of him, but because of the protocol itself. And the second thing is that the rating will be based on the size of the transactions. So if you will have 2,000 microtransactions, the rating will still be, not
We
that high.
will really have to quit now this presentation.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
So thank you very much, guys. I will give you